Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the video lecture series of Power Electronics and Instrumentation, module number 1. And today we are going to study in detail about the silicon controlled rectifier. Okay. So in my previous video lectures, I have just shown the what is the importance of the power electronics, okay, where the power electronics is being used, okay, which are the what is the actual family of the power electronics, okay, and different types of power electronics circuits, okay. And today we will be dealing with how the power electronic circuits are benefiting us, okay, in detail, okay. So that is nothing but this power electronic circuits, they come in the family of the thyristors, okay. So here basically, in the family of thyristor, okay, we come across the four different types of thyristors, okay. So what is actually the thyristor? What is why the name it is thyristor, or what do you mean by the thyristor, and which is it a semiconductor or whether it is a power semiconductor? Okay, so if you look at here the thyristor, okay, the thyristor is the most important type of this power semiconductor device, okay. We know there are a lot of powers, there are a lot of semiconductor devices are there in the market, okay, like if you have a PN junction diode, you have a Zener diode, okay, you have many other diodes also, many other power semiconductor devices, okay. But thyristor is not just a semiconductor device, it is a power semiconductor device, okay. Why the name power is being added to that particular semiconductor device is because the power handling capability or the mechanism of those semiconductor devices is far different from the other semiconductor devices in terms of their power handling capability, voltage handling, current handling, okay, and other aspects also. And one more, the reason for adding it to the power is that the characteristics what we study in the power semiconductor devices are far better or far greater than the normal semiconductor devices, okay. And they are extensively used in power electronic circuits, okay. And they are operated as the bistable switches from non-conducting to conducting state, okay. And it was been invented in the year 1957 at the Bell Laboratories. And based on the categorization of this thyristor, okay, we have four different types of thyristors. So the first is the silicon controlled rectifier. We have another that is triac. We have diac. Next is gate turn off thyristor. It is also called as GTO. Okay, so these four things we will study in detail one by one. Okay, so let us go with the power electronics circuit, which is very important as a point of exam point of view also, which is the silicon control rectifier. Okay, it is also called as SCR. Okay, or simply if you call it as a thyristor also, it is correct. So what is thyristor here is a thyristor is a four layer semiconductor of PNPN structure with three PN junctions. Okay, it has three terminals: anode, cathode, and gate. Okay, let us elaborate this particular the definition of SCR. Okay, so it says that it is a four layer. Okay, so which are the four layers here are, this is the first layer, this is second layer, okay, this is third layer, and this is fourth layer, right? You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it is four layers of which type? It is a PN. So you can see here it is P, N, P, and N. So it is four layer PN structure with three junctions. Okay, so which are those three junctions here? The junctions are, it is the first junction, that is J1, the second junction J2, and the third junction J3, right? So three junctions, and it has three terminals. Which are those three terminals here? So that is, the first is anode, we have cathode, and very important is gate. Okay, so whenever the question is asked is what do you mean by a silicon control rectifier, or how it is constructed, or can you define, is nothing but it's basically it's a four layer, three junction, 3-terminal semiconductor device. Okay, in this way you can answer. And the symbol for the SCR is, you can see it is almost appearing to be as a diode, right? The only thing is we are having one extra terminal here denoted by the letter G, which is called as a gate. Okay, so this is how the semiconductor diode or power semiconductor SCR has been explained. Okay, now once you study the structure here, you can see the steady state characteristics of anode cathode circuit diagram. Okay, here we have two diagrams. Okay, so the first diagram here is the steady state characteristics of anode cathode circuit diagram. So this is our circuit diagram where we are applying the input supply. This is our input here. Okay, this is our input. Okay, so where we can connect it to the transformer also. Okay, transformer or a center tap transformer. Okay, or it can be your normal AC voltage supply. Okay, and here the voltage is measured, and this is our load. Load in the sense it becomes our output also. Then here is our thyristor. This part is my thyristor. Okay, and we are applying the voltage here by making use of a switch. Okay, so this is the simple diagram which is shown here. Okay, based on this particular diagram, okay, we study basically the VI characteristics of the SCR. In my previous video lecture, I have already explained about the VI characteristics of the SCR. Let us glance again how the VI characteristics of SCR is being explained. Okay, so basically I have four quadrants. This is first quadrant. Okay, this is second quadrant, this is third quadrant, and this is fourth quadrant. Okay, four sections I have. Okay, so out of these four quadrants, okay, this quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 4 are not used, or not, they are not contributing any values in quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 4. So therefore we see about the quadrant number 1 and quadrant number 3 here. Okay, so in quadrant number 1, the various things which we can study here is the forward conduction region. Okay, we can see, and there are various values of the current Ig, that is Ig1, Ig2, Ig3, and as the current increases, your graph also increases linearly. Okay, so there is one more important thing to study in this graph here is, what is forward conduction region? Okay, what do you mean by forward blocking region, and what do you mean by forward leakage current? And we have the current IL and IH, which is nothing but the holding current and the latching current. Okay, here you can see below the abbreviations are written. So VBO, where is VBO? VBO is here. Okay, which is forward breakover voltage. Okay, we have IG. IG is nothing but the gate current. IL is a latching current, and IH is a holding current. Okay, and in the third quadrant, okay, we have again few parameters here, okay, which are reverse blocking region, reverse leakage current, and reverse avalanche region. Okay, now let us study when the thyristor will be in the forward blocking conduction region or reverse blocking region. That is what more important. Okay, here. Okay, so let us take the three different conditions here. Okay, conditions, it can be like your just here. Okay, so what basically happens here is, now we have know the basic concept of the normal diode, that if I apply the voltage across these two terminals, okay, say this is my positive is applied to anode and the negative is applied to cathode. Okay, so whenever you apply a positive to anode and negative to cathode of a diode, the diode is acting as a forward bias. Okay, so if I reverse the polarity of the diode, say if I apply negative to the anode and positive to the cathode, the diode becomes reverse bias. That is what we are going to study in this particular VI characteristics diagram. Okay, VI characteristics diagram. So let us assume the first condition here, that the I have applied the positive to the anode and negative to the cathode. Okay, you can see here by the voltages that the positive is applied to anode and negative is applied to cathode. So what it becomes? It becomes diode. This SCR is in forward bias. Okay, but this SCR special property says that when you apply the positive to the anode and negative to the cathode, okay, even though the diode is conducting, it will not enter into the conduction region. Even the diode is in on state, okay, but it will not enter into the conduction region. That is what the speciality of this particular diode. Okay, it is not like our normal diode. Okay, in normal diode, if you simply apply the voltages, it will just turn on and give you the results. Okay, but in case of SCR, it is a different case, a different scenario here. Okay, so what happens the to the diode or the SCR here. Okay, so let us consider my first case here, that is nothing but assuming that the anode is positive and cathode is negative. Okay, so once I apply the battery voltage here like this is right, this is my battery supply. Once I apply to this battery, so this is my positive, this is negative. So now diode is in which state? It is under forward bias, forward bias. Let us assume that it is forward bias. So once the diode is forward bias, the what is happening to these junctions J1, J2, and J3? Okay, so when the diode is forward bias, okay, when the diode is forward bias, here you can see some conditions are written. So what are those conditions here are in forward regions when the anode is made positive with respect to cathode. That is what I said. Junction J1 and J3 are forward bias and junction J2 is reverse bias. Okay, so this is what the difference here is. Okay, the junctions which you have here, three junctions, right? Out of these three junctions, okay, junction J1 and J3 are forward bias, but junction J2 is reverse bias. The middle junction is completely reverse bias. Reverse bias in the sense this is your open switch. It becomes open, so your flow of current will be like this. Flow of current will be like this because the junction J2 is reverse bias. It is not allowing you to pass your current from anode to cathode because this part of the voltage here has made my gate terminal, sorry, my junction J2 to be open switch. My open, it is just like this. This is my junction J1. Okay, this is at my junction J2. Okay, and here is my junction J3. Because you have applied the voltage plus here minus here, the flow of current should be like this without cuts. But because this junction is reverse bias, the amount of current which is flowing from plus to minus will not be, it will not allow to flow. So therefore what I should do is I should make this junction J2 to break, that is to break in the sense such that it will allow the flow of current, or in the sense it should be turned on. The junction J2 should be turned on. So that is why what I will do here is with the anode to cathode voltage which is being very small, only the leakage current flows through the device. Okay, the SCR is then said to be in the forward blocking state. Now let us go to the above figure here. Okay, so what I said, okay, even though after applying the voltage, that is correct voltage, this is plus here, this is minus here. Okay, junction J1 and J3 are forward bias and junction J2 is reverse bias. So now your SCR is now, it is on, but in this particular state. Which state? It is under the forward blocking region. That is what the name here. You can see there is a small flow of current here, okay, which is entering into the, which is passing through your diode, but not able to conduct properly. Why it is not able to conduct properly? Because the junction J2 is reverse bias. Understood how the flow goes? Okay, though your junctions are forward bias, your J2 is not allowing. So what I should do, so that the diode should enter into the conduction region? Okay, because we are at this particular point, it is forward blocking region. That is what the definition says. Even though you are applying the uh, plus 2 anode, minus 2 cathode, your SCR is on, okay, but it is not conducting. Why it is not conducting? Because of the junction J2. So therefore your SCR is in forward, it is forward but in blocking region, not in the conduction region. So what I should do, such that the your SCR should enter into the conduction region. Okay, so let us study that particular point here, that if you want to break the junction J2, okay, you should increase the voltage value. You should increase the voltage value such that the reverse bias current, okay, here you can see, if VAK is nothing but the anode cathode voltage is, if you are increasing to a large value, okay, the reverse junction J2 will break down due to avalanche effect, resulting in a large current through the device. Okay, this voltage at which this phenomena occurs is called as the forward breakdown or forward breakover voltage, denoted by VBO. So therefore the junction J1 and J3 are already forward bias. Now it is very free to move from carriers across all the three junctions in a larger forward anode current. Okay, so once the SCR is switched on, the voltage across it is very small. Okay, typically 1 to 1.5 volt. Okay, the current is limited only by the external impedance circuits. Okay, so even though the SCR is turned on, okay, I need to apply the gate voltage such that your SCR will turn on by those particular leakage current is if it is increased through the junction J2. Okay, so I will just show you how this is happening now. Okay, just look at this particular figure here. Okay, so what it says, this part it is understood now, right? So now what is happening is J1 and J3 are forward bias. Here you just see this particular, this diagram. J1 and J3 is forward bias, that is red color. J2 is reverse bias. Okay, now whatever the voltage which you are applying at this anode and cathode, it will come till this junction J2. Okay, your voltage will come at this particular junction J2, but it is not flowing through this junction, that is this particular point, that is second half, that is P and N, through cathode. It is not coming through the cathode. Why? Because junction is open. It is under the reverse bias. It is open. So therefore we call it that it is in the forward blocking region. Junction J2 is blocking my voltage flowing from anode to cathode. Now, just to make my electrons flow from anode to cathode, what I will do is I will break the junction J2. I will break the junction J2 completely. How to break the junction J2 is, whatever the voltage you apply at anode, that is at the positive terminal, what you should do is you increase in a larger quantity. For example, if your earlier voltage is around 5 volts, but for 5 volt, your junction J2 is not breaking or not allowing the flow of current. So what I will do is I will increase this voltage, that is anode cathode voltage. So what I will do, instead of 5 volts, I will give around some 10 volts. So for 10 volts, what it will do is it will break. It will break and it will allow you to flow like this. So when this is happening, only when you are increasing your leakage current, that is reverse leakage current. Once you increase the voltage, then the amount of current flowing from the anode to cathode will flow from all the three junctions, is that is J1, J2 and J3. Okay, J1, J2 and J3. So this is how your SCR will work under the forward conduction region. Okay, now only the thing what is happening here is you are allowing the voltage to be should be flow from anode to cathode. Okay, because once the SCR is turned on, okay, by applying some minimum typical small voltage which is mentioned here is nothing but 1 to 1.5 volt. Okay, this anode current is limited only by the external impedance present in the circuit. Okay, that is what the another condition here. So therefore, although the SCR, okay, here you can see the in the second paragraph, okay, although an SCR can be turned on by increasing the forward voltage beyond VBO, that is voltage breakover voltage, okay, in the practical conditions. Okay, so the forward voltage should be maintained well below the VBO. Okay, and the SCR is turned on by applying the leakage current through the junction J2. Through the junction J2 is increased. Okay, so because of this, the resulting gate current consists many of flow of electrons from cathode to gate. Okay, since the bottom end layer is highly doped as compared to the P layer, due to the applied voltage, some of these electrons reaches the junction J2 and add to the minority carriers concentrating in the P layer. Minority are nothing in the P layer, the electrons are the minority charge carriers, they will add it. Okay, so this raises the reverse leakage current and the results in the breakdown of junction J2. Okay, so here another thing what uh, um, you can see here is, I'll just show you the another mechanism, simple mechanism. Okay, so what was the condition is nothing but this is the plus, this is the minus. Okay, so this is my junction J2. So once I apply the voltages from anode to cathode, okay, it is just like it is, the plus is connected to this point, minus is connected to this particular point. Okay, so the current will start flowing like this, like this, like this. Junction, it will flow through junction J1. Okay, because junction J2 is also forward bias, because this is plus. Now there is one more voltage I will be applying here. Okay, it is called as the gate voltage. It is called as the gate voltage. So gate voltage, okay, once I apply this part at these two particular points, I will be applying my gate voltage, cathode and gate terminal. Okay, cathode and gate terminal, like this part. Okay, so therefore because of the junction J2 it was not flowing, what I will do is I will increase the gate voltage. I will increase the gate voltage such that this junction, it gets break down. The junction gets break down at this particular point, like this gets break down, and further it will allow you to flow from anode to cathode. So therefore, now this junction is completely, is just like nil. So therefore, always remember, in a forward in a silicon control rectifier, there are two states we have. One is forward blocking mode and another is forward conduction mode. What is happening in the forward blocking mode is, when you apply anode and cathode voltages, junction J1 and J3 are forward bias, junction J2 is reverse bias. Applying, increasing the gate voltage, okay, slightly increase in the gate voltage will break the junction J2 and allow the current to flow from anode to cathode. So in this way you can write the answers also, okay, for that particular graph. So as you go on increasing the gate voltages, you can see the graph, that is what the graph says. Earlier you were in the forward blocking region. So once you go on increasing your gate voltage from IG1, IG2, IG3, your gate, your amount of voltage which is flowing from anode to cathode, it will increase. So therefore you can see there is a straight path, that is K. So that region is called as forward conduction region. Okay, so this is how the forward conduction region works. So these two paragraphs are very important. Just go through these two paragraphs. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can please let me know. Okay, so again there are two things to study in that particular graph of a forward conduction mode. Okay, so that is one is the holding current. Okay, what do you mean by the holding current? Okay, if you just look at this graph, holding current IH. Okay, you can just look at this particular point here, that is IH, where it is here, IH. Okay, this IH here, that is called as the holding current. So let us study what is holding current here. This, okay, holding current is nothing but after an SCR has been switched to the on state at a certain minimum value of anode current, okay, is required to maintain the thyristor in this low impedance state. Okay, if the anode current is reduced below the critical holding current value, the thyristor cannot maintain the current through it and reverts to its off state usually. That is what you can see here. Okay, or the simple definition for the reverse the holding current is the minimum current required. Try to listen very carefully. The minimum current is nothing but the gate current here. Okay, so the minimum gate current required to maintain the SCR in forward conduction region, okay, or in the on state. Simply you can see it on state. So what is the definition of holding current? The minimum gate current required to hold the current of SCR in the forward conduction region or in the on state. The another definition is the minimum current, gate current required to turn on the SCR is nothing but the hold current. Okay, so if the current is not minimum, okay, then what will happen? Your SCR will be in the forward conduction region. Okay, so the second definition is nothing but latching current. So what is latching current? Again, it is the minimum current. Here you can see it is the minimum current required for an SCR to switch on or to be in the forward conduction region. Okay, if your current is not minimum, then your SCR will be in the uh, forward blocking region. So therefore, once your SCR is turned on, okay, once your SCR is turned on, there is a minimum current required to sustain the sustain conduction. Sustain conduction is nothing but to maintain in the conduction region. Okay, so this current is called as a latching current, denoted by IL. Okay, and it should be turned on, and always it should be greater than holding current. So try to remember these two definitions. One is holding current, another is nothing but the latching current. So what is holding current? It's the minimum current, okay, to maintain the SCR, okay, to be in the on state. Okay, or what is the latching current? It is the minimum current required for an SCR, okay, to be in the conduction region, and always the latching current is greater than the holding current. Okay, you just remember these two definitions. Okay, so in the next video lecture I will be uh, going through the another type of region here, that is reverse blocking region. Okay, or the only the thing is the operation of this is completely reverse. Okay, what is happening in the reverse blocking region is nothing but your junction J1 and J3 are reverse bias. Okay, junction J2 is forward bias. Only the thing is you should reverse the polarity of your voltage here, that is apply minus to anode and positive to cathode. So if you apply minus to anode and plus to cathode, okay, so your junction J1 and J3 are reverse bias, junction J2 is forward bias. Okay, so with the cathode to anode voltage, if you are applying it a very large, if you are increasing the voltage, okay, only the leakage current will flow through the device. Here you can see in the third quadrant, you can see there is a graph, reverse leakage, flow of reverse leakage current here at this particular point. Okay, so once it reaches to the reverse breakover voltage VBR, reverse leakage, that is breakover voltage, okay, it will, your SCR will enter into the reverse blocking region. Okay, the reverse bias junction J1 and J3 will break down because of the avalanche effect due to the large reverse current through the device. Okay, and this voltage at this phenomena is occur at reverse breakover voltage, denoted by VBR. Okay, so this is how the VI characteristics of the SCR can be studied in detail. So in my next video lecture, I will be going through the next topic of the SCR, that is the gate characteristics, okay, or the thyristor gate characteristics. Okay, thank you.